Hello my friends, Grim here. I hope you're doing well today, and welcome to a shorter video than usual, a non-gameplay video. Today we're going to be talking about the massive item haul that we got over the course of 10 runs. And when I say massive, I mean in the context of a solo, self-found, offline character, so a lot of these items are ones that maybe are not that exciting to people used to vast wealth in this game. But they are sure exciting relative to the gear that we used to get this far. We're clear of Act 3, and hell, we have Act 4 and Act 5 to go. But I didn't want to finish the game with such a poor loadout, so we have many new items to show and many new stat points and skill points allocated. That's right, we did a Respec too, so we're going to talk about that going line by line. Just to give you full context, that run that I showed in my most recent video is what we did off camera 10 times, adding Andariel to it. I don't remember if we did Andy at all or if we did her every time, but basically we're starting off in the Black Marsh, hitting the Countess, we then go to the pit, we then go to Andariel, and we conclude with the Stony Tomb, and our map was very amenable to all of those locations. Stony Tomb was right outside Luca Lane, the Countess's Tower right next to the Black Marsh waypoint. Obviously the pit's not too hard to find, and the only thing that wasn't perfect for our map was maybe the Catacombs, but off camera while farming I also decided to finally start using teleport a little bit more aggressively, and that got us to Andariel real quick, in addition to telestomping her and other enemies. Very good times. But without any further ado, my friends, let's talk about the items and the respec, beginning with what we used to get as far as we have so far. Thank you, as always, for watching, for supporting the content. Let's check it out. Alright, so this is what's got us as far as we had gotten in the game. The Fishymancer, the Summonmancer, not needing too much help from gear, so we have a bunch of relatively poor charms that have been with us since, like, mid-Nightmare. And starting from the top, we've got an upped Undead Crown, which is one of our earliest coups in the self-found mission, and has still been serving us very, very well, although at this point, starting to maybe feel a little bit outclassed, even though +3 to Skelly Mastery is always going to be hard to give up. We have a simple Golem Lord's Bone Wand, +3 to summoning skills, adding skills to Iron Golem and Summon Resist as well, the latter of which we use, the former we do not. We've got that Teleport Amulet. This item is actually completely incredible. Massive fire resist, but decent resistances to the other 3 elements as well, and level 2 Teleport, 25 charges. On our most recent run video, we found Sigon's Guard. As sad as that is, it was an upgrade to our offhand simply because of +1 all skills. The defense, the blocking, whatever, that's all it does too. Skullder's Ire, arguably our very best piece, a fantastic piece of armor, and socketed by Larzuk, given a P Topaz for some massive magic find, which I'm sure was crucial in everything else you're about to see that was an upgrade. We've been running some okay gloves, reducing poison resist or poison length rather, and freeze duration. We've got lightning resist and 22 magic find. We've got Havoc Hold, a rare ring for faster cast rate, a little damage reduction, cold and fire resist, and 10% magic find, and a Noggle ring as the other one, very well known. Nightsmoke as our belts. This does a few things that we like, including mana resistances +10 for all, and a little bit of damage reduction, and then just another rare boots that are pretty much a correlate to our rare gloves. Poison resist and cold resist, both of 20, faster run walk, and 15% magic find. So with this particular loadout, we were rolling with 210% magic find. I was happy to get over 200 with a self-found character. Necromancer, not always the best magic finding character anyway, plus skill's a lot more important, but we did get over that 200 mark to start really farming. And on our 10 runs, on the very first stop, which is the Countess, on the very first run, off of a unique goblin mob, we found Blade of Alibaba. So that, of course, made the remaining 9 3/4 of the run time that much better, because Blade of Alibaba, massive bonuses to gold find and magic items. I'd been saving jewels just for crafting purposes, happened to have one that had 5% better chance of getting magic items, tossed that in there. So this sword alone giving us 89% more to magic find and 210% extra gold. So this was a huge find right out of the gates, and one of I of course farmed with the rest of the time. The gold find is no joke either. I found myself just constantly overflowing with gold, unable to pick it up. I had to do an absolute ton of gambling, mostly to no avail. I will show you later the one item we did gamble, but yeah, Blade of Alibaba, the first find. And I'm afraid our next find spells the end for our trusty Golem Lord's Bone Wand, because if we're farming, we're using Alibaba, and if we're not farming, we're now using Soul Bane. We have found a really nice rare wand, +2 to all Necromancer skills, and +20% faster cast rate. +3 to summoning skills is probably better than +2 to all Necro skills, but the faster cast rate, I'm assuming, is going to by itself kind of put this over the top. We've also got some other modifiers. Some are great, some not so great, but +4 to mana to each kill, after each kill rather, is probably what really makes it. If we were hitting people with the wand, it would actually do a lot compared to the average wand. Unfortunately, we've got +1 to a bunch of skills that we don't use. Nevertheless, on the whole, between 20% FCR, +2 to all skills, +4 to mana after each kill, this is our new wand. Another upgrade that we found while farming is another rare ring. Nothing too crazy to write home about, but if we're not magic finding, this is a little bit better than Havoc Hold, especially because we don't need 10% faster cast rate anymore so much with a 20% faster cast rate wand. We have bigger resistances, 30 to fire, 18 to cold, rather than the old 13 to cold, 9 to fire. Again, we do lose out on the magic find, but we have a big boost to the mana pool and replenish life, which does not exist elsewhere on our character, and that's a very nice quality of life upgrade. Damage reduced by 2 is a wash. So yeah, when we are questing in Act 4 Hell, we'll have the rare wand and Chaos Circle as the rare ring. Now maybe you're saying, well, hold on, Grim, there's no such thing as too much faster cast rate, why not just keep both items? Well, I'm afraid we will not avail ourselves as well as we used to of an extremely upgraded faster cast rate, because we are no longer using Insight. Good old Pratham has been carrying the team for so long with that meditation aura and with his damage, but the damage has fallen off hugely in Hell. He doesn't actually hit that hard with Insight. If you look at what he's dealing for damage, it is 355 to 510. Now, that's not anything too special. However, with this new item, 739 to 1821, so a gargantuan damage upgrade, and that comes from Obedience. We found a 5-socketed giant Thresher on our run, which is my understanding is the best in slot. It's not ethereal, but as a base it is otherwise best in slot for Obedience on a Merc, and literally every mod is relevant. 30% chance to cast level 21 enchant when you kill an enemy, faster hit recovery, massive enhanced damage, -25% target defense, adds cold damage, reduces enemy fire resistance, and I found out that Corpse Explosion does fire damage, so that's actually useful too, plus our fire skeleton mages, I guess. 40% chance of crushing blow, which is arguably the very best modifier, massive defense boost, adding strength, dexterity, all resist +27, and -20 requirements, so as insanely good as the Insight rune word is, it was time for something more powerful. Now, 2 things. Look at this. Pratham wearing Skin of the Vipermagi, but with the Obedience boost to resistances, you can give him no armor at all, and he still has maxed out resist. So between that and between the fact that our own resistances are actually relatively poor, nothing over 32%, that is not the proper order of priorities. So now that we're no longer farming, I'm going to swap the armors. Give Pratham Skullder's Ire. He can use this big defense more than we can anyway. He's still going to be, killing a ton of stuff, so that Magic Find is still going to be very relevant. And then we get to wear Skin of the Vipermagi, and that faster cast rate that we're missing a little bit on the ring, but making up for more than double with the wand, we're now making up for insane amounts with the Skin of the Vipermagi. It's looking very cool on us as well. And now, without any other new gear, our resistances are a lot healthier and a lot more respectable. One other note, I wanted to try to have my cake and eat it too. And I said, well, I really should do this obedience upgrade, but I'm going to miss insight greatly. What if I respec into Iron Golem and make an Iron Golem out of the insight so we have a walking, another tank, not as tanky as the Clay Golem, but a walking tank with an insight aura. I just read into it, and people are losing their golems left, right, and center to bugs. If you're walking, if you're getting stuck on terrain, if you're fighting, the golem can just disappear. And then it's gone, and then so is your insight, and you can't just resummon it like you can with the Clay Golem. So, as much as I would love to do that, I think we have to put insight on the shelf for now until that bug is fixed. And also, I just love that the Clay Golem is just so cool. I'm really totally fine with sticking with him. And in fact, as part of the respec, he got even more powerful. But first, we'll finish talking about the items. So the next big item we found was a big upgrade to our weakest slot, which was the offhand Sigon's Guard being replaced by Wraith Emblem. Finally, at long, long last, one of our million shrunken heads is pretty good. It's +2 to summoning skills, and that by itself just puts it over the top. But it's actually got massive defense of 224, which doesn't hurt, +10% faster hit recovery, adding poison damage, whatever, and lightning resist 21. I'll take it. There's definitely better minion skulls out there, whether rare or unique. There's better set items out there, and I've been looking for a 4-socketed Monarch to make Spirit forever, to no avail. We found the 5-socketed Giant Thresher, so we can't really complain, but this still represents a massive upgrade. One quick aside, as we retire Sigon's Guard, I actually found Sigon's Gauge, Sigon's Sabbat, and Sigon's Visor all on those 10 runs. Well, we had the Guard before, but we found the other 3, and I found, in fact, multiple copies of the gloves, I think. I don't know if this is a really common drop or what, but it does make me want to start a hardcore Zealot, a hardcore Zealer Paladin, and maybe give him the Sigon stuff to start. I kind of had half a mind to do something like that anyway, but the first order of priority will be to obviously finish off the Necromancer's questing, and to play co-op with my buddies as the new ladder begins very soon. Next up, we have some crafted gloves, which is pretty exciting. These are called Raven Grip. I crafted probably half a dozen things before I kind of ran out of good materials to use. This was the best result I got. So if you compare them to our existing gloves, we lose the half freeze duration, but we already have that from Undead Crown, and I don't know if it even stacks. And we lose the Magic Find, which is unfortunate, but we gain Gold Find, and again, we're geared up for questing, not for Magic Find. We can keep these around for farming. Other than that, it's basically strictly better. Poison length reduced by 25 is replaced by some poison resist. I don't know how to rate that. The lightning resist is literally doubled from 14 to 28. And on top of all that, you have +16 to mana, and regenerate mana 7%, and +3 to mana after each kill. All of which are awesome by themselves, and all of which are more necessary than ever without insight on our merc. And finally, with the items, we have a series of things that I think are close but no cigar, beginning with something I may be wrong about, Trang-Oul's Girth. Now, this is a really exciting find, because it might be about as good as our regular belt. I don't know if it is. But also, Trang-Oul's claws, I understand, are like best-in-class necro gloves, so if we find those in the near future, maybe we wear the belt too for a little set bonus as well. But our current belt giving us a lot less defense than Trang-Oul's belt would, but it gives us plus 20 to mana. All resistance is plus 10. That's the big thing I don't think I can give up. Damage reduced by 2, 50% damage taken goes to mana. All of those modifiers are good on Nightsmoke. Trang-Oul's Girth. Massive defense upgrade, but I don't know how much that matters. 66 to life, that's pretty good. Replenish life plus 5, that's pretty good. 31 to mana, that's pretty good. Maybe I should be wearing this, actually. It's really hard for me to say. But losing those resistances is the big killer. The other mods, not so excited about. 30% maximum stamina and requirements minus 40, but cannot be frozen is really, really nice. And it's also giving us some belt size upgrades in slots, so I really don't know. I cannot rate this. I don't know what's better. I think if there was any resistances from Trang-Oul's Girth of relevance, that would be best in class. Maybe I'll try it. Not sure. It's going to be one or the other of these two. I think they're really close. We also have had Silkweave for a little while. We found it right around the same time we found Eagle Trample. I think I'm going to keep the rare ones because 20 cold resist, 20 poison resist, really hard to give up. Magic Find is nice. They both have 30 faster run walk. Again, massive defense upgrade, including versus missiles. And this is really good for our mana. Maximum mana 10% plus 5 to mana after each kill. I'm hoping that between things like Raven Grip and Chaos Circle and other things that we don't necessarily need any more help to our mana pool, but if we do, I'm going to swap out Eagle Trample for Silkweave. That's going to be on standby. Other things that were close but no cigar, we found a 2-socketed Bone Wand that you can make the rune word white out of. I think that's worse than Soul Bane, but if we found something like this with like some natural relevant plus skills on it, then maybe we'd do that. And also the best thing we gambled was Summoner's Amulet of Brilliance. Plus 1 to Necro skill levels, plus 7 to energy. Decent. Would have used it before I found this Dread Gorget, but again, look at this Teleport Amulet and the massive resistance bonuses it comes with. I do not think we can replace that. So, yeah, maybe should be using Trang-Oul's Girth over Nightsmoke. Not sure. Otherwise, these other things are on standby in the case of Silkweave, and close but no cigar in the case of the Wand for white and the Amulet. And now for the respec, my friends. We have enough strength to wear the Undead Crown. We could potentially need to respec again if we find something else, especially the aforementioned Monarch Shield. We'll do that if the time comes, no problem. This was our first ever respec, so it's no issue. And enough dexterity, which is maybe even higher than I would normally have it, to use Blade of Alibaba for farming. That is our highest dex requirement. Every other point goes into Vitality, and before the respec I had maybe 5 or 10 points, something like that, in Energy, which I just did in the early game, knowing I'd eventually respec for quality of life purposes, and I probably had more in Strength than I needed to, although I don't remember that for sure. The skill tree respec is really where it gets a little bit more interesting. I had been dabbling in the last several levels, like a few points here, a few points there, and the new respec is pretty simple. 20 in Skeleton Mastery and 20 in Raised Skeleton, obviously. We also have 20 in Corpse Explosion. No questions about any of that. We actually cut the whole Bone Armor side of the tree. I'm going to play without Bone Armor and see how it goes. It doesn't seem all that powerful, especially because I learned something new. I thought because Bone Armor scales more with points in Bone Wall and Bone Prison than it does with points in the skill itself, which is great if you're a focused Bone Mancer, but I am not. I did think that I could put 1 into each, and my plus skills would kind of do the rest. Turns out that only hard points affect synergies, and I just found that out, so that made me want to cut the whole Bone Armor side of the tree. And for curses, we have 5 points into Amplify damage, because I really like the increased radius. Duration too, but mainly radius. And then just 1 point in everything to unlock Decrepify, which itself only has 1 point. which leaves us a lot more space in the summoning tree. We put only 1 point now into Skeletal Mage. I'm going to use these a lot less, although I'm still probably going to summon them most of the time. There's only 1 hard point in them, but it goes up to 6 with plus skills. Only 1 hard point in a revive as well, but again, with the plus skills, we can get 6 revives. That's more than enough for the few times we'll use them. I chose to put the extra points that we saved there. Obviously, we've got 1 into prerequisites, but I like 5 hard points into summon resist. I know it does not scale all that well, but I think it's a really powerful effect. I'm very happy to put extra points into it. Not a ton, but 5 hard and then 5 extra. And also remember that that does synergize with Raised Skeleton. That's got to help somehow. And all the rest, in this case 14 and more as we level up, are going into the skill Clay Golem. We wanted potentially Iron Golem. I decided against that with the bug, so now we're all in on Mr. Clay. And the reason we're maxing Clay Golem rather than Golem Mastery is simply for that massive slows enemies. With the Clay Golem slowing down elite mobs and big bosses, the Mercenary now doing massive damage with Obedience, that's the wombo combo we really need. Skeletons, of course, surrounding and shredding as well. The Golem is plenty tanky without putting points into Mastery for the life bonuses, which are indeed nice, but I'd rather buff the slow. So there we go, my friends. That is our perhaps too extensive breakdown of the items and the skills, the respec, and the 10 farming runs. I know this is, again, relatively small fry stuff for Diablo veterans or people who are just playing online, playing in parties, getting rushed through, whatever. But for me, who's going more at a slow pace, doing every single quest, playing solo offline self-found, and it was my first character I've ever taken seriously in this game, I'm very excited about all of this. I hope you are too. So with that said, signing off for today. I will see you next time for Act 4 in Hell. Thank you for watching, my friends. Leave your comments below, and take care. I will talk to you soon.